Now I'm going to teach you other drawing tools. As a beginner, I'm only going to teach you some of the drawing tools over here. For example, I'm going to be teaching you polyline, circle, arc, rectangle. So these are the three drawing tools that I'm going to be teaching you. The first is polyline. Polyline is basically a group of lines that are all connected to each other. You can select this, and polyline command, or as it's written, P-line command has been activated here. You can specify a start point, and let me just make a random figure like this here. Now say I want to close this polyline. You can just enter C L and press enter. It just closes the polyline on its own. And if you select this, it's basically considered as one singular object that you created. The second command is rectangle. You can either enter the command via keyboard, REC enter, or you can select the command rectangle from here. If I just select the first corner of the rectangle and say I want to make a rectangle of dimension 2000 on the x-axis and 3000 on the y-axis. So over here you can see the text that is highlighted in blue is 773.4. It is the dimension coming in the x-axis. So to change this dimension, I'm just going to press 2000 in the x-axis. Now to change the dimension in the y-axis, I'm just going to have to press tab, and I'll just enter a dimension of 3000 and I press enter. Now you can see that this rectangle has appeared with the x dimension of 2000 and the y dimension of 3000. If you don't think that you've gotten it right, you can just measure this line using the tape measure tool. You can use the dimension tool over here and click on this point and this point. You can zoom in and see the dimension is 2000. To enter the y segment dimension, you can just enter this and zoom in to see the dimension to be 3000. Don't worry, I'm going to be telling you how to insert dimension lines properly in further videos. So this is the rectangle over here. The next command is the circle. For circle, it's asking me to specify a center point, and if I just move out, I can specify the radius. For example, I want the radius to be 1000 units, and over here we have a circle with the radius 1000. Select this and delete it. You can make the circle using different types. For example, you can make the circle while selecting the center and diameter. You can make circle using selecting 2 points, 3 points, tangents, radius. You can try all of these options by yourself. It's very interesting to do it. It's not much technical, but it's going to be a good learning experience for you if you just try to do these circles, if you just try making these circles using these different methods. The next thing is arc. It's asking me to specify the start point of the arc, it's asking me to specify the second point of the arc, and it's asking me to specify the end point of the arc. There. If you want to make an arc in different ways, you can just select this drop down menu and you have these different types of arcs over here. You can experiment with each type and let me know how it goes. So the third thing that I'm going to be teaching you about is the object snap. Object snap is a fairly important tool in AutoCAD. For example, let me just draw a rectangle, an arc, and if you see that if I just want to draw a line from here, this green square is appearing over here, and if I just hover my mouse over to somewhere to the center of this line, a triangle is appearing over here towards the midpoint of this. This particular arrow has also been coming up. So what are these different things that are appearing over here? As you can see, the arc just appeared. This dotted arc is also appearing over here like this. So what are these basically? This is basically happening because of object snap. To see the object snap, you can see that there's this small icon over here. You can press this arrow and you can open object snap settings. You can see that there are various options selected over here. For example, endpoint. In front of the endpoint, it's a symbol of square. That's why when we are going over here, a symbol of square was appearing. That was marking the endpoint of this particular line or the endpoint of this arc. Midpoint is denoted by triangle, center by a circle, geometric center also by a circle, intersection by a cross, extension by a dotted line, nearest by an hourglass type of shape, perpendicular by obviously the sign of perpendicular, parallel by this. So what are these basically? Object snap. Object snap is a pretty useful tool to make your drawings. For example, if I just put the object snap off and I try to make a line starting from this point, no matter how hard I try, I zoom in, no matter how hard I try, there's going to be a distance between this point and that point because AutoCAD is not taking the exact point because the object snap is off. Now if I put the object snap to on and I make the line, it's snapping itself to that point automatically. That helps us making the different lines from this particular point with ease. Now I'm going to be telling you the different types of object snaps that are in there. First, I taught you about the endpoint already. I'm going to be teaching you about midpoint. Midpoint is basically this triangle. You can use it. Midpoint can be in a line or also in an arc or in a circle, anything. Midpoint can be a midpoint of anything. Center for this arc is here. Center can be for circles, ellipses and parabolas, or basically any curved objects can have centers. The next is intersection. For example, if I just draw a line over here and just hover my mouse over here, so you can see this cross appearing over here. That cross basically marks the intersection of these two lines. The next is extension. Suppose I want to make an extension of this line. It's a bit tricky. I just click on the end point and you see I can't sort of make an extension over here. But if I just hover over this line and then I'm extend my line over here, I can make an extension of this line. It's written extension 676/212 degrees. So that's what it is. And that's the extension, people. The next is perpendicular. Say I want to make a line perpendicular to this line. What I'm simply gonna have to do is I'm just gonna hover my mouse over this line and then I'm gonna just make a perpendicular line from this. So it's snapping itself to make a perpendicular line. Say I want to make a perpendicular line on another line. See, I make this line, and over here I want to make a perpendicular. I want to draw a line from here which is perpendicular to this particular line. For that, I'm just going to enter line, and I'm just going to hover my mouse over here. Over here it's specifying, saying perpendicular 122 degrees. So that means that this particular angle over here is 90 degrees. Let me just delete these lines. The next is parallel. See, I make this line and I want to make another line parallel to this line. I'm just going to type in L over here, and I'm just going to hover over this line and try to make a line parallel to this. I don't think the parallel command is activated, that's why it's not showing the line. I'll just click on this arrow and I'll activate the parallel, check the parallel command. Now if I try to make a line, hover over this line and make a parallel line. So that's how you make parallel lines, and that's what object snap is. So I recommend you only to put on the options that you're actually going to use. I don't use the parallel line very much, so I'm just going to uncheck this. Only select the options that you're actually going to use, otherwise you're going to have a lot of points and a lot of green segments in your drawing, which is actually going to stop you from making accurate drawings. So only check those boxes, those modes which you actually need and you actually use. I'm just going to press on OK in this. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next videos.